Hey folks, CA Rachna Ranade here. If you're planning to buy a car in 2026, this video is extremely important for you because in today's video, we are going to discuss three key points. Number one, we are going to analyze the cost of owning an ICE car versus an EV car. Number two, we'll talk about two rules that can help you pick a financially sensible car. And number three, we'll try and get a final verdict on ICE versus EV, which could be a better choice based on what are your expectations. So video is going to be extremely important. Keep on watching the video till the end. Now let's analyze the cost of owning an ICE versus an EV. First things first, we are going to compare the initial cost. So I've taken an SUV, and for ICE, I've taken the price at around 19 lakh rupees. I had a word with a lot of industry experts and I asked them that if I were to go ahead with a car in a similar band with similar features, what could be the approximate cost for an EV? And I got to know that it could be somewhere around 20 lakh rupees. In fact, a lot of experts also told me that in this band, the difference is barely at 1 lakh rupees right now. EVs are barely a lakh rupees extra as compared to ICs. And earlier, when EVs were introduced, this price gap was around 4-5 lakhs. And this has been reducing, and currently it's around 1 lakh rupees, right? So that's why I've taken these two amounts. Now let's understand about the running cost per kilometer. For an ICE, it would be around 8.9 rupees, and for an EV, it would be 1.2 rupees. Now, if I were to understand the 5 years running cost, what I have taken is approximately, let's say the running is 1500 kilometers per month. Okay. Now, 1500 kilometers per month will be around 18,000 kilometers for 1 year. And for 5 years, it could be 90,000 kilometers. Basic maths, right? So 90,000 kilometers multiplied by what? 8.9, which is the running cost. That comes to 8 lakh 1,000. Okay, that will be the running cost for 5 years. And in the same way, 90,000 multiplied by 1.2 could come to 1 lakh 8,000 rupees for 5 years running cost. So is this way cheaper as compared to ICE? Absolutely yes. Now talking about the 5-year maintenance cost, again same thing, for I've considered for 90,000 kilometers only. If I'm talking about maintenance cost at 80 paisa for ICE and 40 paisa for EV, the ICE ka maintenance cost comes to around 72,000 rupees, and for EV it comes to around 36,000 rupees. So again, in this case, EV will be cheaper as compared to ICE. Let's talk about a very important point, which is about the eligible annual depreciation as per income tax. For a normal ICE, income tax depreciation you get at 15%, but for EV, you can get an income tax depreciation of 40%. This point is extremely important for especially business owners, right? So, considering the initial costs at 19 lakhs and 20 lakhs, what would be the eligible annual depreciation at 15% for ICE? It will be 2 lakh 85,000, and for EV, it will be 8 lakh rupees. So, again, there's a substantial gap here. Now, if I were to consider all these costs, for a 5-year total cost for an ICE, it will total up to 27 lakh 73,000, and for EV it will be 21 lakh 44,000. Now this translates into a saving of almost 6 lakh plus rupees over a period of what? 5 years. Now what do you do with this? I could remember this. क्या कीजिएगा इतने पैसों का आप? So what can you do? Obviously you can invest this, but as I always say, never invest at one shot because you're going to save every month. So if you're going to save every month, it makes sense to make an SIP and invest this amount slowly and steadily, which can help you build wealth in the longer term as well. What about one last point, which is about the resale value? Typically, it is said that ICE may get a higher resale value of around 55 to 70% of the original amount. Of course, I'm talking about resale value after 5 years. And if I'm talking about EV, the resale value could be somewhere between 40 to 60%. And needless to say that resale value could change based on the condition of your car, right? So, having understood all of these points, in the next section, we'll also understand about some added advantages of EVs. Now let's talk about the added advantages for EVs, especially focusing on the government incentives. Now, if I'm talking about toll is exempt for EV cars in many states. But of course, as I mentioned, you have to check for your state wherever you are driving, whether it is exempt in your state or not. Number two, if I'm talking about road tax is also exempt in a lot of states, but again, because it's like a state policy, it can change over a period of time. So whenever you are buying an EV car, just check what are the latest applicable rules, right? The third one is about state subsidies. It goes up to 1.5 lakh rupees. So check how much is the state subsidy in your state. Number four, and the best part is about GST. For EVs, GST is just 5%, and for IC cars, it is 28%. Right? So, this is it about the added incentives. Now that you know so much about EVs, let's also dig down a little more deep, because all EV owners or would be EV owners have some basic questions in their mind. It could be something like, how far can my car go with a single charge? Or it could be something like, what is the charging speed if I were to charge from, let's say, 20% to 80%, and many more questions, right? So, for answering these questions, I'm going to take three examples. One is Mahindra XCV 9S, one is Mahindra XCV 9E, and one is Mahindra BE6. If I'm talking about a single charge range for all three models, it is 500 plus kilometers. So, first question answers, your car can go 500 kilometers plus in a single charge. If I'm talking about charging speed to go from 20% to 80%, it is around 20 minutes if I'm talking about any of these three cars. Now, if you are wanting to go ahead with some fancy features, something like auto park, is it available? Answer is yes. In all these three cars, auto park feature is available. And ultimately, let's also talk about the performance for 0 to 100. Within how many seconds can you reach a speed of 100 from from a speed of 0? For Mahindra XCV 9S, it is 7 seconds. For Mahindra XCV 9E, it is 6.8 seconds. And for Mahindra BE6, it is 6.7 seconds. But then you'll be like, Rachna, if you can tell us a little bit more about some luxury features as well. Mahindra EV has loads of luxury features. If I'm talking about Mahindra EV SUV cars, they boast of 16 speaker Harman Kardon audio system with Dolby Atmos for a truly immersive audio, Vision X AR HUD, Level 2 ADAS, CinemaScope 3 adjoining displays, and the most important point here is about lifetime battery warranty. Now, why am I just emphasizing so much on this? Because for those who know about EV cars, you might be aware of this fact that the battery cost itself is almost like the 50% of the total car cost. So, all the EV owners always fear about one point, that what if something goes wrong with my battery? Can it hit my pocket pretty badly? So, if you are with Mahindra as their customer, Mahindra has a lifetime battery warranty that protects your most valuable EV component for as long as you own the car. So, what will be the result? The result is amazing: zero battery replacement cost. This may indicate a higher resale value and hence complete peace of mind. And I feel that is like the ultimate luxury, isn't it? Now, if I'm talking about safety features, which is also extremely important, it boasts of 7 airbags, autonomous emergency braking and front collision warning, adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, lane keep assist, and lane centering assist, driver drowsiness and fatigue detection. So now that you have understood so many points of all these Mahindra cars, in the next section we'll talk about the golden rules for deciding which car suits your pocket. Now, let's talk about two golden rules which can help you find a financially sensible car. Okay, first rule is, like for absolute beginners, is extremely simple. It's as simple as this, that your car price should not exceed roughly 50% of your gross family income. Okay, so what can be a simple example for this? Let's say your family income is 40 lakhs per year. Okay, what should be the car price that you should be looking at? It should be around 20 lakh rupees. As simple as this. Very easy, right? Now let's go to the second rule. Second rule is a 25-10 rule. Now, what do we mean by this rule? It says that the 20 point is nothing but the down payment. So let's say you go ahead with a 20 lakh rupees ka car. Okay, how much will be the down payment? 20% of 20 lakhs, that comes to 4 lakh rupees, correct? You should have 4 lakh rupees so that you can make the down payment. Okay, now how much will be the loan amount? Loan amount in this case will be 16 lakh rupees. Okay, now question is, okay, I've understood that yes, this is 16 lakh rupees. Now how much should be that 5 and 10 calculated? 5 is what? 5 is nothing but the tenure, and 10 is nothing but how much is the EMI as a percentage of your income. And for that, let's go to our website, and on the website I will show you how to calculate the EMI. Okay, so let's go back to this. 16 lakh was the amount of the car, right? So I'm taking it as amount of car, loan amount. 16 lakh is the loan amount. How much is the rate of interest? I checked a lot of banks. Current rate of interest is around 9%. Okay, so I've taken here as 9%. Now let's also understand about how much should be the tenure. Tenure I've told you is 5 years. So this is 5 years tenure. And here immediately I get the result. Result is 33,213. Now in our example, 40 lakh was the monthly income. 40 lakhs divided by 12, that comes to this amount. And if I were to compare this amount with the monthly EMI, because 40 lakhs divided by 12, that's the monthly income, and that is how I'll compare it with the monthly EMI, which is 33,213. That amount comes to roughly 9.95%. So does this car make financial sense to you? Answer is yes. I hope both these rules are absolutely clear. In this next section, we'll talk about the grand finale, EV versus ICE. How do you make the right choice? Now let's come to the grand finale question, which is ICE versus EV, which could be a better choice for you. I believe that it could depend from person to person, so we need to understand multiple facets before we come to a final conclusion, right? Now, if I'm talking about initial cost, if you remember, I told this in the beginning of the video that earlier ICE cars were way more cheaper as compared to EV cars, but now the overall gap is pretty much closing down. So if I'm talking about initial cost, I can give a point for both of these. ICE, EV, it's almost the same for initial cost, right? If I'm talking about running cost, I have given you a detailed calculation in the beginning of the video itself, and I think for this, EV is a clear winner. Next point, if I'm talking about maintenance cost, again, we had done the calculation in the beginning of the video, and again, EV is a clear winner in this case as well. If I'm talking about battery life, which again concerns a lot of people, of course, this point is not applicable for an IC car. But if I'm talking about EVs, if you remember, I had told you that for Mahindra customers at least, it comes with a lifetime battery warranty, which gives you absolute peace of mind. So in this case, I'll give a tick for EVs. Now comes one more very important point, which is what is your core use? Why are you wanting to buy this car? Okay, typically, if you are a person who does continuous long distance travel, in that case, ideally, ICE could be a better choice. Now, why am I saying this? So if you're a continuous long distance traveler, then planning breaks, where is the next charging station and all that, that can actually bother your mind. And in such cases, ICE could be a better choice. But if I'm talking about a person who is wanting to check out a car for daily commute, in that case, you can plan it very well. You can charge the EV overnight and you can use it very comfortably for your daily commute. In that case, EVs can be a choice. And if I'm talking about a person who is doing long distance travel but with planned breaks, so you know that I'm going to travel from A to B point where there is a charging station, then I can, recharge the battery and then go from B to C. In that case, EV can be suitable. Again, if I'm talking about Mahindra is rolling out fast chargers across the country. This can make long distance EV travel way more easier and way more practical as well, right? So this is about the core use. Now moving to the final point, which is outstation travel. If you're a person who is traveling to metros as well as remote locations, in that case, ICE could be a better choice, because even today the overall charging stations in remote locations especially is not that great. So in such cases, ICE could be a better choice. But if your core travel is majorly in metro cities, you can find EV chargers at so many places, so that is not a problem at all. And in that case, EVs can be a better choice. So I hope EV versus ICE, I have told you based on financial angle, and I have told you also from what is your use case. That also angle we have explored. So what you have to do is you have to decide for yourself what is your core use, how does that car suit you practically, financially, and then take an ultimate decision. I hope this video will help you take that decision pretty easily. Please don't forget to share this video with all those friends who are planning to buy a car this year. And if you found a lot of value in today's video, please don't forget to smash the like button as well. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care. Jai Hind and bye-bye. You might have come across such advertisements on various social media platforms. Please note, all of these are fraudsters promising unbelievable returns through stock tips. I don't provide any calls or advisory services. I provide only educational content through my social media handles and through my website rachanaranade.com and rachanaranade.in.